Hello, and welcome to this lovely encounter on the first day of spring or autumn, right? If you're if you are in the southern hemisphere, and because I'm Kass Thomas, I'm here with three amazing miracle workers. We have Dr. Shubhra. Hello, Dr. Shubhra.
Good afternoon, Sasha. Good evening and good morning, wherever you're in the world.
All right, in Bangalore, in India, we have Dr. Sara. Hello, Dr. Sara.
Hello, everyone, and happy Happiness Day to all, wherever you may be in the world. I'm in Central America. It's morning.
In El Salvador, and we have Dr. Sara. Hello, Dr. Sara.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm from Mumbai, India.
And in Mumbai, India, and I'm in Rome, in Italy. So we are around the world. Yes. And we would love to, I'm so excited to be here with you three, and I'm often with you. And just about the road, the journey to the wealth of health, as Dr. Shubhra was saying. And if you want to just tell us, your doctors, but you're communication experts and wonderful magicians. If you want to tell us a little bit about you, Dr. Shubhra, yeah.
I am Dr. Shubhra, based in Bangalore. I am a psychiatrist by qualification, but over a decade now, I have been practicing integrated health. My journey towards wellness started almost 10 years plus now, starting with my own personal journey. And what I've realized is, like Cass just mentioned, that we keep saying health is wealth. So if we are healthy, and when we say healthy, if you split it, it's heal, die. So when you start healing thyself, you automatically become healthy. And the more you heal yourself, you realize everything around you starts to heal. This is my journey about wellness. And around 6 years ago, when I met Cass, I learned to communicate with bodies. As doctors, we are trained to work on bodies, but I learned to work with bodies, and it was a beginning of the journey. And then came the 7 steps to flawless communication, and I use it for physical ailments, mental health issues, for myself and others. And for me, they are my favorite anti-anxiety, antidepressants. There are so many steps there which can be used. No adverse effects. The only side effect is joy and more ease in life. So how does it get better than that?
Wow, wow. And just listening to you, my whole body is relaxing. What about you, Dr. Sara? Thank you, Dr. Shubhra.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sara, and it's so cool that we're all Dr. S's, as you affectionately call us, Cass, and you're S too, with double S. So it's no coincidence that we're all here today from all over the world, basically. And my journey towards health really began when my second child was born 26 years ago. So looking for different options to treat allergies, I went into homeopathic medicine to give him an option of not depending on just the puffs and the sprays and the steroids. So I went into this adventure with the Germans and trained as what is now called bioregulatory systems medicine. And it's really mind-body medicine. It's really following the old principles of Hippocratic medicine, where, thy food will be your medicine and your thoughts are also creating your body. And now we know with epigenetics that we actually are turning on or turning off our genes. And that's amazing, because we don't just have this idea of like thoughts creating, but we can see proof that from the way we talk to our bodies and the way we think and what we focus our attention, we're either turning on those genes towards disease or turning them off. So about 6 years ago, I discovered Access Consciousness by chance, with an encounter of a high school friend, and she sent me into the bars. And when I started exploring the bars, I really discovered that that was the easiest way to flush out a lot of repetitive thoughts and toxic emotions and things you wanted to change but had been unable to do so before. So with this tool, I just launched into treating pain with bars. Like, that's the side effect that Dr. Shubhra was saying. People get more happy, and as they get happier, they lose the pain and they start creating their lives from different patterns. So then I discovered 7 Steps with you. You attracted me with your voice, and I reached out to you, Kass, and I started translating for you and fell in love with these steps, which make it really easy for us to start this communication with our bodies first. And then from that connection, we can really communicate with the patients, their bodies, the animals, and the earth. So I'm a 7 Steps teacher now, and I so enjoy this and have a lot of great stories to share about patients and about my own personal changes also.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And, our personal journey is something that allows us to encounter not only ourselves, but also others in a very different way. And I'm in this period getting bars every day too. So how cool is that?
How yummy is that?
How yummy is that? And Dr. Sara, and thank you so much. And Dr. Sasha, yes. How are you, love?
I am good. Thank you for having me here. My journey actually started in medicine itself when I was studying in MBBS. So I'm a general practitioner in Mumbai, India, and I've been working on the front line and COVID for the time period that I did. And so my journey began when I was operating, basically. And it started in the operation theater with the patients when the bodies would actually jump at me if I had taken a suture incorrectly, or if I had done something where the body was like, you need to do this way. And I was like, wait a minute, am I the only one like able to hear this? Is anyone else like listening to what I can hear and what's going on here? And it just turned out that and I've always been a seeker as well. Since I was the age of 14, I think I've been asking myself the question of why am I in a body, and what am I doing here, and what's really going on this planet, and why is there so much hate and suffering and pain and war and all of that. And then began my journey through various things, after which I found Access Consciousness, I found Kass Thomas, I found the 7 Steps, and things that I thought, and that people sort of made me think that I was crazy for, actually realized that I wasn't crazy, and nor was I wrong. I was just simply highly aware of something that may not have yet gotten any scientific background or a scientific proof, but science will catch up. That's how science works. It'll catch up, you know. And here I am now, changing people's bodies by asking questions and communicating with the body in such a different way that allows, your body to kind of become your lifelong friend. And that's sort of what we're all here talking about. And it's amazing to listen to the doctors from all over the world.
Absolutely. And the conversation with you three for me can and will go on forever. And just reconnecting with how and when we met. And Dr. Sasha and I met in Mumbai a few years back, maybe 4 years back, and when I was doing a presentation of the book, and she and her sister and her mom walked up to me, and she said, "I'm so glad to see you in person. Do you know, when I saw you online and you talked to me and you told me about the 7 Steps, you completely helped me heal my body." And of course, I'm a doctor, right? And I was like, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. And we've had journeys around the world actually together since then, but also as the 7 Steps teachers. And it's so great to have, let's say, the complication. I mean, medical doctors have a lot of studying to do. And the invitation that the 7 Steps is, the simplicity. And it's really quite a genius when you are willing to have so much knowledge, so much studied, so many degrees, and yet you are willing to invite people to a simplicity in communication and how much that can heal us. The first step, show me the magic, and I'm just looking at the magic now. Three magical ladies and doctors and infinite beings. And the second step is talk to your body. So I'll just give you ladies the floor in terms of those first two steps, and talking to your body and recognizing what your magic is, those first two steps. Then you're aware of how much you are avoiding in your life and how that shows up in your body, and what that reflects in your body. Headaches, something as simple as that, maybe dis-ease, a discomfort or disease, and mental illness, and and also rejection of patients. I know Dr. Sasha was was noticing that also during the COVID period. So what is the simplicity that a medical doctor, psychiatrist can be and invite us to be?
So I work here in a hospital where I am a part of the wellness clinic, and I integrate tools of access, these 7 steps. When the patients from the interdisciplinary units are referred. So I'll give you some examples of things like migraine, headaches for 15 years. They have been on treatment, not relieved, and when they come to the clinic, and when we start talking about working with bodies, how to find what's true for you, what's heavy for you is a lie, working with the bodies. I love this step because it just introduces them to a very new world. We don't have a concept like we just have to say take this and done with it. But when you can ask, like, would you like to talk to your body, it's a very alien concept for them. But I have seen a lot of people with so many headaches within 6 months. I mean, in a decreasing trend, the headaches go away. So it is just that when they start becoming more present with their bodies, they start to heal themselves without medications so much. I mean, they just leave the medication. In our culture also, if we go to the very ancient traditions, bodies were not something we worked on. Bodies were something we was a tool to use to communicate to different levels, get an awareness about, get present about. Like you were mentioning, if there is a resistance and you're starting to have headache, and you try to treat the headache, not asking what's this, then you just keep treating the headache. It's never going to go away. So would you like to work, when illness comes, it's almost like a fruit of something, which is a dis-ease in the thought, feeling, and emotion. So I asked them, would you like to work on the root, or would you like to just work on the fruit? So you can keep cutting and chopping the rotten fruits. It's not going to lead you, much far. And that's where, when you start working on the root level, and body is one tool that can help you to connect with that thought, feeling, and emotion. We live in a very tangible world, and how do you tell what is working? Because thought, feeling, and emotion is very vague. It's very subtle. We are not used to subtleties. So they learn to work with it. And I personally have let go a lot of stuff. I used to have migraine. I used to have 2 painkillers at a time. I mean, that was a decade ago. Then only my headache would go away. I don't remember now, since last few years, when I would have taken a painkiller. Now, rather, if I ever have a headache and I don't want to listen to my body and I take a painkiller, it still doesn't go away. Whether one or two. So basically, I know I'm resisting some information. Can I work with it? Can I work on it? It eases. So recently I shared, like, I gave a talk about, very briefly, the 7 steps to flawless communication with self. So self, bodies, it just kind of was an invitation, and a lot of people, it just opened up something new for them. And whether it was show me the magic or talk to your bodies, whatever they could get. So it just expanded their zone. And that's why I love the ease which is there with the 7 steps. So, yes, there is a lot to absorb from them. So this is like there. I can go on and on, but I would love to leave the floor for my other Dr. S's. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And we will be going on and on. And it's just, there's so much more that unites us with ourselves and with others than separates us, which is the tagline for the 7 steps. Go, Dr. S, number 2.
Oh, so hi. I'd like to share some of the personal stories I've experienced with patients. My specialty is physical medicine and rehabilitation. So we're physiatrists, but we're also called cheap psychiatrists because we listen to the patients and try to figure out what's going on and how to get them to be more functional. So that has been like my main focus, like, allowing the patient to return to productive life and to reincorporate into social activities with all the limitations or handicaps that they're having that can be either temporary or, long term, depending on the side effect or the aftermath of a brain injury or something like that. So basically, using these integrative techniques, what I work with the most degree of success, let's call it, or with the most ease, is with patients with fibromyalgia. Those are the big group that I use a lot of bars and body processes and a lot of questions about communicating, with the body and, with themselves, because I explain to them that the body really has a language, that the body's always talking to us. And if we ignore the sign, if we ignore the whisper or the little tingling hair in our arms or just a little slight discomfort to the head, and we just, try to manage the symptom, that only increases in intensity because the body wants to tell us something that we're not taking good care of it, or it requires to look at an area of our life that, relationships, for example, or the degree of pleasure we get from work, things like that. So the symptoms keep on increasing. And particularly with fibromyalgia, there's a high degree of insomnia, a deep disturbance of sleep, lack of energy is enormous, and a big load of pain. I mean, intense level of pain. So one of the things that I work with the 7 steps is getting them to really reconnect with their bodies and to start discovering that the body is a sensory companion that can give us different sensations beyond pain. So they've only experienced pain for like the longest time. So when they reconnect, they can start experiencing light touch. They can start sensing the breeze in their face, listening to the birds. I mean, just start to enrich the sensory capacity of the body and not reject it because they've only been focusing on pain and contraction. So we start to get them to open up and to perceive all the different senses, like the food, the smell, the sound, the touch. So I go on that journey with them, asking them questions like, what's their body trying to tell you with this sensation? And if we don't call it pain and we allow our bodies to perceive our different sensation, and I also call them start negotiating with your body. It's like, hey, body, I know I'm very dumb and you have raised the volume of your information up to this high degree of pain. So now let's turn it down a bit and please show it to me in a way that I can understand. May I suggest that you give me a light touch on my face, or that I can just feel the tingle of my hair, or maybe I just give them those suggestions and put a little bit of humor into the conversation with the body. It's like, hey, buddy, thank you. I'm really dumb. This is too high. Can we please turn the volume down and just express it in a different way? So that's kind of like where I've seen the most changes in patients with fibromyalgia, and they return to work productivity. Sometimes they get out of relationships that had been toxic for them, and that was what the main urgency of the communication of the body was. They start recognizing their difference that makes them not fit into all the different environments, and they have felt so wrong about themselves that they have caused a lot of disease. There's a lot of changes that occur, but it's usually a process, like Dr. Shubhra says, that takes a few months. We work with fibromyalgia patients in a period anywhere from 3 to 6 months in order to get them to choose something different in their lives and use these steps to communicate first and foremost with themselves. And from then we can expand into communication with others. So that's a few of the examples that I've encountered.
Yeah, and it's such a kindness, really, to be an invitation for people to acknowledge what they know, right? With the access consciousness that I've been engaging with for almost 20 years. And I loved it when it was like, no, we don't have the answer. We have the question. You have the answer. And how many years does it take for us to get back to us, you know? And this is what the simplicity of these 7 steps are. And this period of COVID that we have been really in communication with for so long, I get that so many people are actually activating their curiosity about what is it that they are here for. Why are we here? Like Dr. Sasha said, what am I doing here? Why am I here? And really looking to connect with themselves. What do you say, Dr. Sasha?
No, absolutely. And it's becoming more like wellness is becoming something that's being sought after. It's becoming something that's becoming a priority. It's changing the way we actually look at things, which I think is fabulous because we've been, of course, all of us have been on the journey for a while now, and to have people who were probably always close to it opening up and going like, hey, I want to know what you do. I want to know how to like what is this and where can I start from, and like, and that I think is fabulous because the basis of everything is communication. Because when you start to just you ask a question, and then in itself begins that two-way street wherein you're going to get a response in some way, shape, or form. And sometimes that response is not in a language that you can understand, be it from your body, or from the trees, or from the ocean, or from the sky. But it's a response nonetheless, right? Like, how do you communicate with a newborn baby? Or how do you communicate with a dog or a cat or a fish or the food on your table? But what most of us don't actually realize is that we've always known how to do communication. It's just never been active communication, like actively recognizing that you're in communication. So you may think about it, oh, but I've been doing this my whole life. But it's like, yeah, but have you actually paid attention to the fact that you really know what you're doing and can explore it from a place of where it's not a passive thing that's happening in the background. It's something that you're like consciously engaging with, and discovery through that conscious deliberate engagement can open up so many other doors that you may not have thought were possible before. So even when I started with my body, I remember I was diagnosed with something known as hypothyroidism, which is a gland dysfunction in the body where it produces lesser hormones than it's supposed to. And this is actually after I met Kass, and she was like, oh, you can either listen to the whispers of your body or you can listen to the screams of your body. And I was like, that's very interesting, because there have been times when it's easier to find it in someone else's body sometimes as a medical doctor, because you're dealing with so many patients. If you're seeing 200 patients a day or an hour, then you're going to be seeing people's bodies talk to you in different ways. What is body language, things like that. And sometimes you can even diagnose a patient just by when they walk in. I've seen doctors do that, and it's just fabulous to because years of experience of having spoken to the body, but for them it's still a passive thing because it's something that's acquired over a period of years. So if you were to actively do it now, there are times when people just call me and go like, hey, I've got this going on, and I'll be like, okay, what's going on, body? And the body will be like, this is what's going on with me, this is what's going on with me, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and I don't like this. And when it becomes really interesting when you start to do it with your own body, because of course we like to trip ourselves out more than we'll trip someone else out, because it's easier to be there for somebody else and sort of difficult to be there for yourself, because that's the narrative, that's what you're told, that's what you're taught in your life, is be there for others. But if your cup is empty, you can't really be there for others. You kind of have to gift from the overflow of that full cup. So when I kind of discovered that my body talks, and boy does my body talk a lot. Like there'll be times when I'm standing in a party and someone's body is going through something very intense, and this has been a recent event as well, and I'll be like, body, what's going on with you? That body's got this going on, that body's got this going on, that body's got this going on. I was like, okay, body, all right, body, can we have some ease with this? Thank you for the information. Thank you so much for gifting me this wealth of knowledge that you have, and that you're able to very like gift it to me. And sometimes, like Dr. Sara said, when I started, and there are still days when I tell my body, I'm so sorry, I was so dumb, I didn't hear you, I have massive dumb, and it's okay. Can you show me in a different way? Can you tune it down? Can you like really just talk to me, and we'll figure it out together. And I think that is something that the 7 steps can not only assist you with your body, which is what we're talking about, but I think in all areas in your life. It can be really simple. Even if you're dealing with something really difficult, just start by communicating with it. It helps. It changes a lot.
Absolutely. And these ladies, if you would like to find them, you can absolutely find them on 7 Steps to Flawless Communication, which is a Facebook page. And you can go on there and you will see them, as well as other teachers all around the world. Also on the website 7steps.us. And where can they find you? Each and every one of the 7 Steps teachers has a different approach and unique approach. And these ladies do classes, not only 7 Steps classes. We'll be doing some amazing 7 Steps explosion together. We'll put that in the chat for you. But each and every one is a gift to the world. So just if you can tell us, Dr. Shubhra, where people can find you.
They can find me on Facebook page. It's called Wisps of Possibilities, and the same name for is there on Instagram Live. Instagram, and my personal page is there, Shubhra Nautiyal Puneta. I mean, that'll be a longer one, but Wisp of Possibilities is something, when we are talking about the whispers, are you willing to listen to that? So it's Wisp of Possibilities.
Awesome. Awesome. And Dr. Sara, where can people find you? There's also the 7 Steps to Flawless Communication Instagram page. Thank you for saying that too. And where can people find you, Dr.
So they
Sara?
can find me in my business page. It's called physioterapiaelsalvador.com. And then there's a Facebook page that's called Dr. Sara Alfaro, and another webpage about ozone and all the other integrative medicine that's called BRIO3ozone.com. And on the Access webpage for Certified Facilitator Search, you can find my profile also.
Cool. Awesome. And Dr. Sasha, where can people find you? I know where to find you. They've got a great, but where can other people find you?
You can find me on Facebook as Dr. Sasha Nagpurwala, but you just type Dr. Sasha and you'll see a very big surname, and that's me. And on Instagram, it's Doctor of Possibilities. There's no spaces, and it's a DR of Possibilities. Awesome. So you can find me there. Yeah.
Amazing. And just so rich and such an invitation. And I'm so grateful. And I'm looking forward to our engagement, continual engagement in this lifetime, and probably many others too. Thank you for the health that you invite, for the wealth that you are, and the beauty that you illuminate in the world. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.